Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm the Gentleman and welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Pixel Club. This is the Firemen. We're playing it on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System recreated on the MiSTer FPGA. What you see here is a scrolling intro. Think Star Wars, but Star Wars on a much grander scale in the time it took to actually get through this intro. I've sped this up. What you cannot see here, and what you wouldn't see because you get bored and just switch off the video, is this took 2.5 minutes to get through all this scrolling backstory and everything else that's going on. And I thought, I can't leave this in the video, I need to speed this up. So in the 60 plus videos I've done, this is the first one that I've actually ever sped up the gameplay for the intro, because it just went on and on and on. You know, I could have gone and had a cup of tea by the time this was finished, and actually made the tea, finished the tea and come back. Anyway, we are now finished thanks to video editing and speeding it up, and we're into the gameplay. This game, you control two firemen, and the object is basically to work your way through the level, put out fires, and you can rescue a person on your journey as you do. Great game. I've played it once before on the Nintendo and I didn't get as far as I got this time, but I didn't have much time to play it. And the problem with me is I don't read game instructions for these retro games. They are a lot easier in some respects because there's less controls than what you have on today's games, and I choose not to read the instructions because I want to experience and I want to enjoy it for myself. So you can see me here messing about with the buttons, figuring what's what, and you control the fireman at the front, the guy with the hose. You've seen the other guy behind him throw a couple of water bombs, and what I never realised was actually these water type bombs have disappeared off the screen. I didn't even notice they were there at this point, so I've already butchered my gameplay experience in terms of taking away an essential weapon to fight the fire. You've really got to get around the building, and you've got to get a certain area, and I believe to release some water on the top of the building that is meant to go down, flood the whole building, and that's in essence what you're doing. You mainly control the first fireman. You don't switch characters, but sometimes on one of the weapons that you actually use against the fire, the other character will enact it for you. Playing this game, I noticed after a little while that there was a timer, so at the moment where I'm playing at the moment, I haven't seen the timer on the top left. The same way I never noticed the water bombs I threw right at the beginning. So, you know, a little surprise came to me a bit later on. I thought, oh, I better shift on this, and it's not for a long while I start shifting because of the timer. But good game, and I have OCD, and I'm going through every part of the level here trying to put out every single bit of fire that can happen, because we all know what happens if you leave fire unintended. The Tower and Inferno happens, and I don't want this on this Super Nintendo game. I want to complete this and try and get the best score that I can get, try and get the best experience that I can, and you know, absolutely loving what I'm doing here at the moment. The cute graphics, the fun graphics, the fire damage that you're seeing all about you. Never mind the fire damage that's going on behind me on the screen here, but the fire damage that you're seeing everywhere. And problems like this, that the bridge collapsing, the only way to get across is by walking through the river. Now, I haven't read the instructions, so I spend a bit of time faffing about. What I'm doing here is I'm looking for a jump down button. I want to see whether we can actually jump downwards into the river, but no, that's not possible, so I wander off here and go exploring to see whether there's another way to do this. And you know, all the times you're looking at the controller, you're thinking, what do I use? You know, I think I've used every single button, and then I noticed that crawl. If you saw him drop down at the moment, he crawls there at that point, so aha, maybe there is something that I can do with that. I'm not quite there with it because I'm still mucking about having the timer tick down that I didn't even notice was ticking down, but I eventually get there. While I'm learning how to play the game, learning how to control my character here, and we do spend a few more seconds with me dicking around, let's talk about this game. This game was created by a company called Humans, and it's not their first disaster type game. I believe they did another game called SOS, which was on the Super Nintendo as well. Not a great game by all accounts if you have a look at the reviews on anything that you can find, but again, another game where there's a disaster involved. I've gone back through to the previous room to see whether I can get through back the way I came, and I can't, so it's absolutely clear to me that, you know, I need to remember that I ducked at some point, and or I went to crawl at some point, and try and work my way through this level. We've got no more fire, and we've just got a ticking down clock that I'm not aware of, and so I'm just struggling a little bit to get across here. This may not be the best video in terms of watching me do this, but it's how I enjoy games, it's how I like to play games, and I've managed to crawl and get myself into the river, so I now know that we have this game mechanic and what I need to do. Fortunately, that fire by those trees didn't take hold of the trees and burn everything. You know, I'm not sure it's a really good idea to build trees inside office buildings, but hey ho, you know, this is the game that we have, and you know, this is what the designers did. You know, lovely looking game, lovely looking graphics. Anyway, going back to these designers, this is the second game that they did, the second disaster type game. The first being something called SOS, which was set in a ship. I may give that a go at some point. It looks like it's got quite intriguing gameplay, but it hasn't had great reviews. But you know, it's what you make of it, and you know, some of these crap games or games that have crap reviews turn out really, really good. They did do a follow-up to this game which came out on the PlayStation, and they called it the Firemen 2, so they were really inventive with this. I've not played this, it's on the PlayStation 1. I might play it at some point, but I was just having fun with this, and this little bit of lifts, the escalators that we got there, reminded me very, very much of a recent game we played which was called Zombies, because they had escalators in the shopping mall, and we've just found somebody that's hurt. So we're doing a little job on rescuing him, but as I said earlier, the main character that you control is the guy in the center of the screen, and the other guy does throw water bombs if you happen to have any, but I don't because I got rid of them. And the controls essentially fire the hose, sprinkle the hose, you can duck down, and I learned afterwards, because after I played the game I thought, is there something that I was missing here, because I did struggle with this, so I did go and have a look at instructions, but this was after I played the game. I believe you can control the direction of the hose a bit better than what I was doing, but all I'm focused on here is putting out the fires, putting out every single bit of fire, so it hopefully does not start up again. You've got a map which you can see on the screen here at the moment, and the rooms that you go into are highlighted by white with regards to this, so you know, fortunately you can see where you've been. You can also see where you've got to go as well. You know, not always the easiest to navigate because you've got multi-levels on the map, so you've got the escalators, as I said, I can go up and down here, but it gives you a clear indication. Why I'm going up here again right now, I don't know. I'm probably looking for new bits of fire that's absolutely not there, but there's no point. I need to be going back downstairs and through the doors at the centre. It's funny when you record these games, in terms of not funny, humorous, but you see so much looking at the video of the gameplay of you playing out. I look at myself play some of these things and I think, that wasn't the best choice you made, or why in God's world did you do this? And all these things that happen around you that you don't notice. And I do a couple of Fortnite videos on here which are really the skin test ones, which some of you have seen, and that game there, you know, you see enemies when you look at the recording back that you never necessarily noticed before, and it just shows that how when we play games we just focus on the dead center, what's around us, but we have so much more going on the peripheral edges of this. And you know what I'm talking about here is the timer, for example, that I had noticed till about this point in time where I thought, oh, the time is ticking down. The bombs, which I never noticed to start off with, you know, were all gone, and it just looks like the screen is off-centered on the Nintendo cartridge, but it's not. I've just got nothing in the bottom area because I've used it all. The graphics, as I say, truly loving what I see, and I don't know whether this is my imagination, but I feel that as well as the fire, there's a lot of smoke going around here as well, so it feels like the levels are getting more smoky. It feels like they're getting a little bit more complex, and by God, what is this? There is something new here. I don't know what the hell that is, that walking vacuum cleaner type thing, but yeah, there is something that causes me problems. Speaking of problems, there is a cut in the video at about the 3:12 point. I've just mentioned that to see how well this transpires, how well this goes across, but when I was shocked to see that thing on fire, which the thing that created me problems, the video completely broke. Everything broke on the system. Fortunately, due to autosave, a majority of the audio was captured, and like the little webcam view that you see on the screen here, but Movie Studio just broke. And this is one of the trials that we have, myself and perhaps other YouTubers that are not experienced. Can I call myself a YouTuber? Yes, I can, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But other YouTubers who are, you know, not one of the greats or anything else like that, that have their little cornerstone channels like this face. We're editing the videos ourselves, we're producing the videos ourselves, we have nobody to do this for us. So even though the gameplay that you see me doing takes, I don't know, 10-15 minutes at a time, you know, you've got to put in all the video together, editing it, encoding it, all the other bits, and it all takes time. And I'm still fighting my OCD here, getting every last frame that you see. But can I call myself a YouTuber? Yes, I can. And the reason I can is thank you very much to each and every one of you. I'm absolutely delighted that this week we passed the 150 mark, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, that tells me that we are doing everything right. You know, we're doing everything in the right direction, and the time to go from 0 to 100, and then the time to go from, you know, 101 to 150 is absolutely brilliant. And honestly, I'm so delighted. You know, I love doing these videos, I really do. Yes, I ramble on as we do them. Yes, I know you get that, but you know, I guess my rambling is not so bad that enough of you are here. So, you know, again, thank you. And this is a hobby. There's no ulterior motive for doing this. My next personal goal, where I'll do a celebration video, is going to be 250 subscribers, and that's quarter of a way to what my end goal in my mind is going to be, to get to 1,000 subscribers, because then we can have the live chat as we do some live streams. And when I do have 1,000 odd subscribers, I will be doing some live streams, so you can see me mess up in real time. You know, I believe, the capability to be able to stream from the MiSTer FPGA directly using some of the tools that I've got. So it's not as if I don't have the equipment, and it's not as if I don't have what I need to do this already. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to this. And it's a good job earlier on, if you remember back when I was trying to get into the water, that I learned how to crawl. Because if I hadn't learned how to crawl, and they haven't had that mechanic here, I would have no idea what I would need to do on this. They tell you that you need to get through by going under the pipe, so it would have been, what do I do here? I would have just been totally stuck. And it seems you have to go under this funny, not funny, it's not funny at all, the large flame that's spitting out. And you see a water bomb there. I'd collected another water bomb earlier on, and I threw it there to let me through the level. And here we go, crawling again under. What you see me doing is faffing around trying to find the right controls, because it's been a little while since I've used it, noticing that the time here is about to get to 0, and I've gone through these doors at 0, but I have no idea what happens at 0. Maybe this is a bug in the program, you know, maybe it should be game over at this point, and something god awful should happen. I mean, the guy's going to go rescue the MDL there, and I'm using the host to cover him, but we're at 0, and whatever problem should happen clearly hasn't happened. Although my life, there isn't very much of it here, so I have a gut feeling this is going to be game over any moment now. So the 0 counter didn't kill me, but the life bar absolutely did. Anyway, we'll let this play out, but I'm the gentleman, this is the Gentleman's Pixel Club, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you aren't a subscriber, please feel free to click on the subscribe button. Everyone really does mean such a lot to me. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for being on this journey with me. We have passed 150 subscribers, and that is fantastic. Honestly, it's really good. Anyway, I will see you next time. Stay safe, stay well, and look after yourselves. Goodbye.
Would you like to play again?